Have you ever wondered how one of the world's most secretive leaders travels? Forget Air Force One. We're talking about a moving fortress on rails, a symbol of absolute power and paranoia. This is the story of Kim Jong-un's armored luxury train. At first glance, it looks almost ordinary, with its distinctive dark green paint and a yellow stripe running along its side. But don't let its vintage appearance fool you. This isn't just any train. It's a rolling palace, a command center, and a bunker all in one. It's said to be composed of up to 21 specialized cars, each with a specific and often secret purpose. Let's start with the armor. The train is completely bulletproof. Every window, every wall is heavily reinforced to withstand explosions and gunfire. The undercarriage is also armored to protect against trackside bombs. This beast weighs so much that it can only travel at a snail's pace, typically no faster than 37 miles per hour. Speed isn't the priority here. Survival is. This slow journey is a massive security operation. 3 separate trains are actually used. First, an advanced security train runs about 20 to 30 minutes ahead, checking the tracks for bombs and any potential threats. Then comes the main event, Kim Jong-un's train. Following behind is a third train carrying extra bodyguards, communications, equipment, and other essential supplies. The entire route is locked down. Hundreds, if not thousands, of security personnel are deployed along the tracks, forming a human shield. Stations are cleared, and power is often cut to other lines to ensure the Supreme Leader's train has an uninterrupted, secure passage. But what's it like inside this green fortress? Pure, unadulterated luxury. Defectors and intelligence reports paint a picture of opulence that starkly contrasts with the lives of ordinary North Koreans. Think plush, pink leather sofas, glossy wood-paneled walls, and state-of-the-art entertainment systems. There are conference rooms with long tables for meetings on the move, private bedrooms, and even a dedicated dining car. And the food? Only the finest. Live lobsters are kept in special tanks, and crates of expensive French wines like Bordeaux and Burgundy are always on board. It's been reported that gourmet meals are prepared and served on demand, making it a 5-star restaurant on wheels. One former Russian official who traveled on the train with Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-un's father, described being served an endless array of Russian, Chinese, Korean, Japanese, and French dishes. But amidst all this luxury, there's a constant undercurrent of fear and intense pressure. The staff, from the conductors to the famous pleasure brigade of female attendants, are handpicked for their loyalty and operate under immense scrutiny. A single mistake could have dire consequences. This train isn't just a mode of transport, it's a microcosm of the North Korean regime itself, tightly controlled world of privilege, secrecy, and absolute authority. So why does Kim Jong-un prefer this slow, cumbersome method of travel over a much faster private jet? The answer is simple: security and control. The sky is unpredictable, and planes are vulnerable. On the ground, he can control every inch of his journey. The train is his sanctuary, his command post, his ultimate symbol of power. As it rolls through the mountains and plains, this green armored train isn't just carrying a leader. It's carrying the weight of a nation, shrouded in mystery and rolling on tracks where power never ever stops. Have you ever looked at an old family photo and wondered about the stories behind the faces? What if some of those faces were deliberately removed? Imagine a family tree not just withering, but with entire branches purposefully chopped off and burned, leaving no trace. This isn't just a forgotten history, it's an erased one. Today, we're diving deep into the chilling world of powerful dynasties where lineage is everything. Think of a family so ancient, their history is written not in books, but in the very stones of their palaces. In the grand halls, portraits of ancestors line the walls, their eyes seeming to follow you. But look closer. You might notice a faint outline where another portrait once hung, a subtle glow hinting at a presence that was meant to be forgotten. These aren't just empty spaces. They're historical voids created by design. In families like these, power is passed down through blood, making every birth a political move and every relationship a potential alliance or threat. The family tree isn't just a record of ancestry. It's a map of loyalty. The central branches, the ones deemed loyal and useful, are nurtured. They flourish, their stories celebrated and immortalized. Their portraits glow with an almost supernatural light, a symbol of their sanctioned existence. They are the survivors, the ones chosen to carry the family name forward. But what happens to the others? The rebels, the inconvenient, the ones who dare to defy the family's will. They don't just get disowned, they get erased. Their names are struck from the records, their portraits taken down and destroyed, their very existence denied. It's as if they were never born. Friends and even their own siblings are forbidden to speak their names, forced to pretend they never knew them. It's a psychological warfare waged on memory itself. Imagine discovering you had an aunt or an uncle you never knew existed. Someone whose story was so dangerous it had to be completely obliterated. You might find a clue, a hidden letter, a diary entry that escaped the purge. This single loose thread could unravel a tapestry of secrets, revealing a hidden history of betrayal, forbidden love, or a struggle for power that ended in exile and erasure. Why go to such extreme lengths? Because for these dynasties, image is control. A perfect, unbroken line of succession projects an aura of invincibility. Any sign of internal conflict, any hint of a failed branch, is a crack in the armor. It suggests weakness, and in the high-stakes game of dynastic survival, weakness is a death sentence. To maintain their grip on power, they must present a flawless, unified front to the world, even if that means rewriting their own past. So, next time you see a grand family portrait, remember that the most telling stories might not be in the faces you see, but in the empty spaces between them. They are silent monuments to the relatives who were lost to history, their only crime being that they were on the wrong side of power. Blood is power, but in these families, it's also the most profound danger. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the shadows of history. Did you know that in North Korea, a single song can be a death sentence? It sounds unbelievable, but the music you listen to could land you in a labor camp or worse. Let's explore why. From the moment they're born, North Koreans are surrounded by music, but it's a very specific kind. Every single note, every lyric is designed to do one thing: glorify the supreme leader and the ruling party. Imagine children in kindergarten not singing about twinkle stars or little lambs, but about their undying loyalty to a political dynasty. These aren't just songs. They're daily affirmations of state control played on repeat in schools, workplaces, and blasted from speakers on street corners. The entire country's soundtrack is a carefully curated symphony of propaganda. The lyrics are always about sacrifice for the nation, the benevolence of the Kim family, or hatred for their enemies. Primarily the United States and South Korea, there's no room for personal expression. No songs about love, heartbreak, or just having fun. Music is a tool of the state, meant to unify the population under a single, unwavering ideology. To sing anything else is to challenge the very foundation of their society. But human curiosity is a powerful thing. Despite the extreme risks, a secret world of music thrives in the shadows. People get their hands on illegal media from South Korea, China, and the West. These are smuggled in on USB drives, micro SD cards, and even old-school DVDs. The most popular contraband: South Korean K-pop. For a North Korean teenager, listening to a group like BTS or Blackpink is an act of rebellion. Think about it. These songs are vibrant, full of energy, and they talk about personal freedom, love, and fashion ideas that are completely alien to them. They show a world of color, wealth, and individuality that they've been told doesn't exist or is a product of corrupt capitalism. This music isn't just entertainment. It's a window into another reality, a forbidden glimpse of the outside world. Finding and listening to this music is a high-stakes operation. People huddle in secret, under thick blankets to muffle the sound, with a lookout posted by the door. They use special media players that can quickly hide the foreign content if authorities show up. A single USB stick might be shared among a trusted circle of friends, passed hand to hand like a precious secret. The risk is immense. If caught, it's not a simple slap on the wrist. The punishments are severe, ranging from years in a re-education camp to public execution, especially if you're the one distributing the music. So why do they take such a huge risk? Because music represents hope. It's a form of mental escape from a life of hardship and conformity. It allows them to feel emotions that their own culture suppresses. A simple pop song becomes a powerful symbol of freedom, a quiet rebellion of the heart and mind. For a few minutes, listening to a band melody, they can imagine a different life. The North Korean regime knows how dangerous this is. They call foreign music ideological and cultural poison. They conduct random raids, searching homes and checking people's phones and computers. They have special units, called Gruppa, dedicated to hunting down anyone consuming foreign media. They've even passed new laws, like the Reactionary Ideology and Culture Rejection Act, which specifically targets this behavior with even harsher penalties. The state understands that if people start questioning the official narrative, the whole system could crumble. And it all starts with a simple song. This isn't just a story about music. It's a story about the unyielding human desire for freedom and self-expression, even in the most oppressive places on earth. The next time you put on your headphones and choose any song you want from millions of options, remember that for some people, that simple act is a life-threatening decision. Have you ever wondered what secrets lie buried just beneath our feet? I'm not talking about ancient ruins or buried treasure. I'm talking about a sprawling, hidden world of dark, underground tunnels. A world built for war, escape, and absolute secrecy. Imagine, deep beneath the earth, soldiers marching in perfect unison, their footsteps echoing through corridors carved from solid rock. Picture vast, hidden bunkers, their shelves lined with weapons and supplies, ready for a conflict we hope never comes. These aren't just scenes from a spy movie. All around the globe, from the mountains of North Korea to the quiet countryside of Switzerland, these subterranean fortresses exist. Some are relics of the Cold War, concrete tombs waiting for a nuclear winter that never arrived. Others are active, modern-day command centers, buzzing with technology and purpose. Where daylight cannot reach, and entire armies prepare in the shadows. Let's start with one of the most famous and secretive examples. North Korea. It's estimated they have thousands of underground military facilities, tunnels wide enough for tanks to drive through, air bases hidden inside mountains, and even submarine pens carved out of the coastline. These aren't just simple bunkers. They are entire underground cities, designed to allow the leadership and military to survive and fight on, even if the surface is completely devastated. Information is scarce. But defector testimonies and satellite imagery paint a picture of a nation that has poured immense resources into going underground, creating a fortress impenetrable from the air. But it's not just authoritarian regimes. Take a look at Switzerland. Country famous for its neutrality, has one of the most extensive civil defense networks in the world. By law, the country must have enough nuclear fallout shelter space to accommodate its entire population. Many of these shelters are connected by a network of tunnels and bunkers, fully stocked and ready to be sealed off at a moment's notice. During the Cold War, entire mountains were hollowed out to house aircraft, command centers, and hospitals. It was a strategy of deterrence, showing any potential aggressor that conquering Switzerland would be an impossible, grinding task. Then there are the tunnels built for pure offense. During the Vietnam War, the Chi tunnels were a masterclass in guerrilla warfare. A massive network of connecting tunnels located near Saigon allowed Viet Cong soldiers to appear as if from nowhere, launch surprise attacks, and then vanish without a trace. These weren't comfortable bunkers. They were cramped, dark, and dangerous, filled with booby traps and housing everything from field hospitals to kitchens. They played a crucial role in the conflict, demonstrating how a determined force could use the earth itself as their greatest weapon. Today, the technology is even more advanced. We're talking about deep underground bases, or DUMBs, shielded by layers of rock and concrete, making them resistant to even the most powerful bunker-busting bombs. They have their own power, water, and air filtration systems, allowing them to operate independently for months or even years. These hidden bunkers are the ultimate strategic assets, housing command, control centers, top-secret research projects, and stockpiles of critical weapons. From ancient catacombs used for refuge to modern-day subterranean military cities, humanity has always had a fascination with the world below. It's a place of safety, of secrecy, and of power. These tunnels and bunkers are a silent testament to our deepest fears and our most calculated preparations for conflict. They remind us that sometimes the greatest threats and the most incredible secrets are not in the skies above, but in the darkness right under our feet. Have you ever wondered what it's really like to live in North Korea, beyond the staged parades and official narratives? The reality for many is a constant state of uncertainty, where the very ground beneath your feet can be taken away without a moment's notice. Imagine this. You wake up one morning and your entire village is gone. Not destroyed by a natural disaster, but systematically dismantled. This isn't a scene from a movie. It's a documented practice within North Korea. Homes are demolished, fertile farmland is abandoned, and entire communities are uprooted overnight. Families who have lived in one place for generations are suddenly forced to relocate, moved like pieces on a board, according to the regime's latest plan. Why does this happen? The reasons can be varied and are often opaque. Sometimes it's for new development projects like luxury ski resorts or military installations built on the land where people once lived. Other times, it's a form of collective punishment or a way to control the population, breaking up communities and scattering people to prevent any form of organized dissent. People might be moved to less desirable, barren lands, or sent to work on state-run projects far from everything they've ever known. Think about the psychological impact. The concept of home as a safe, permanent place simply doesn't exist for many. Instead, there's a persistent, underlying fear. You can't truly invest in your community, your farm, or even the walls of your own house, because you know it could all disappear tomorrow. This isn't just about losing a building. It's about losing your history, your neighbors, and your sense of security. It's a powerful tool of control, keeping people in a state of perpetual anxiety and dependence. In North Korea, home is often temporary, but the fear can be permanent. Survivors and defectors share these heartbreaking stories, painting a picture of a life where stability is a luxury few can afford. They speak of leaving behind ancestral graves, fields they've tended their whole lives, and the friendships that form the fabric of their existence. These are not just policies on a piece of paper. They are events that shatter lives and erase communities from the map. It's crucial to hear these stories and understand the human cost behind the headlines. The resilience of those who endure and escape these conditions is a powerful testament to the human spirit's desire for a place to truly call home. By learning about their experiences, we gain a deeper, more human perspective on the situation in North Korea. Imagine a hospital room. What do you see? Bright lights, modern equipment, a sense of hope. Now, strip that all away. Welcome to the reality for millions in North Korea. What if I told you that in this country, hospitals exist, but for many, medicine is just a distant rumor? Picture this. Dimly lit corridors, equipment that looks like it belongs in a museum, and dedicated nurses forced to work with virtually nothing. They have the will to heal, but their hands are empty. Patients lie in beds, but instead of receiving life-saving drugs, they're often left with little more than prayers and traditional remedies that offer scant relief. For the average person, a simple infection can become a life-threatening crisis. A broken bone might mean a lifetime of pain. This isn't a scene from a historical drama. It's the daily, heartbreaking struggle inside North Korea's public healthcare system. But here's the twist. Behind hidden walls, in exclusive facilities shielded from public view, a completely different world exists. This is where the elite, the high-ranking officials and their families, receive medical care. These hospitals are oases of modernity. They boast advanced technology, fully stocked pharmacies, and doctors trained in the latest procedures. Here, the best care money and influence can buy is readily available. It's a stark, brutal contrast. While the masses suffer from preventable diseases, the privileged have access to a level of healthcare that rivals modern standards. So, how did it get this way? North Korea once prided itself on a system of free, universal healthcare. In the decades after the Korean War, the government invested heavily, and by many accounts, the system was relatively effective. But then came the economic collapse of the 1990s. Often called the Arduous March, famine and extreme hardship crippled the country's infrastructure, and the healthcare system was one of the first and hardest-hit casualties. Factories that once produced essential medicines ground to a halt. The power grid failed, leaving hospitals in the dark. International sanctions further squeezed the supply of medical equipment and drugs. The system that was meant to be a pillar of the socialist state crumbled, leaving a vacuum filled by desperation. A black market for medicine began to thrive, where those who could afford it might find a few pills or a vial of antibiotics at exorbitant prices. For everyone else, there was nothing. This collapse created a two-tiered system by default. The state prioritized the health of its leadership, funneling what little resources remained into maintaining exclusive hospitals for the elite. It became a matter of survival of the fittest and the most powerful. This isn't just about a lack of resources. It's a story of deliberate choices, of a system that prioritizes the few over the many. Where you're born, who you know, and your loyalty to the regime can literally be the difference between life and death. The people who bear the brunt of this are, of course, the ordinary citizens. We hear harrowing stories from defectors who have escaped. They talk about watching family members die from illnesses that would be easily treatable elsewhere. They describe having to bribe doctors just for a consultation or bringing their own food, fuel, and even needles to the hospital. Imagine the desperation of a parent trying to find medicine for a sick child in a country where the shelves are bare. This is a human rights crisis unfolding in the shadows. Where healing should begin, suffering is prolonged. It's a chilling reminder that access to healthcare is one of the most fundamental indicators of a society's compassion and equality. In North Korea, the healthcare system isn't just broken. It's a mirror reflecting the deep and tragic inequalities that define the nation. Thank you for watching and taking the time to understand this critical issue. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into stories the world needs to hear. Have you ever seen those grand, spectacular parades on TV? The ones with thousands of people, all in perfect sync, with dazzling costumes and enormous floats. The dancers are all smiling, their faces beaming with joy. The crowds are cheering, waving flags, their voices a single roar of approval. It looks like a perfect picture of national unity and happiness, right? But what if I told you that every smile you see is rehearsed, meticulously practiced for weeks? What if every cheer is prompted, every flag wave is choreographed? What if behind those bright, smiling faces, there's a different story? Look closer. Beyond the vibrant colors and the joyful music, look at the edges of the crowd. You'll see them. The soldiers, the police, standing still, watchful, their expressions blank. They aren't celebrating. They're observing. Their presence is a quiet, constant reminder. A reminder that this celebration, this display of pure joy, is not optional. Every step the dancers take is monitored. Every voice in the crowd is noted. This isn't a spontaneous outburst of happiness. It's a performance, and everyone must play their part perfectly. Think about the sheer scale of these events. The logistics are mind-boggling. Tens of thousands of participants, all moving as one. It's less of a celebration and more of a military operation disguised as a festival. The individual is lost, absorbed into the collective. Personal feelings don't matter. What matters is the image projected to the world, an image of unwavering loyalty and absolute contentment. Happiness is not just encouraged, it's demanded. It's a duty to the state. And any deviation from that script is not tolerated. This concept isn't just confined to massive parades in distant lands. It can seep into our own lives in more subtle ways. Think about corporate culture where you're expected to be a team player, always positive, always motivated, even when you're burning out. Or on social media, where everyone curates a perfect life. A highlight reel of joy, hiding the struggles and the mundane reality. We are constantly performing happiness for an unseen audience. Whether it's for a boss, for our followers, or even for our own families, we rehearse our smiles and force our cheers. The pressure to conform to a certain ideal of happiness can be immense. It can make us feel isolated when our inner reality doesn't match the cheerful exterior we presuppose to present. It invalidates our true feelings. Sadness, doubt, and struggle are all part of the human experience. When we're told we must be happy, we start to believe that there's something wrong with us if we're not. This forced positivity becomes a cage, a beautiful, brightly colored cage, but a cage nonetheless. So, the next time you see a grand display of collective joy, ask yourself, is this happiness felt, or is it demanded? Are those smiles genuine, or are they part of a uniform? And more importantly, look at your own life. Where are you performing happiness? True freedom isn't just about the right to be happy. It's also about the freedom to be sad, to be uncertain, to be imperfect. It's the freedom to feel what you truly feel without an audience or a soldier watching your every move. Imagine a river, frozen solid under the cloak of a moonless night. This isn't just any river. It's a lifeline, a path to freedom. But it's also a tightrope walk over an abyss of danger. Tonight, we're taking you to the border, where thousands are making a desperate journey, escaping through China. The air is so cold it hurts to breathe, and the only sounds are the crunch of snow underfoot and the frantic beating of hearts. Families huddled together, children's mouths covered to stifle any cry. They move like shadows, their eyes fixed on the opposite bank. They've sold everything they own, said goodbye to everyone they know, all for this one chance. But they're not alone in the darkness. Beams from powerful flashlights slice through the night. Guards patrol the frozen expanse, their dogs sniffing the air. One wrong move, one slip on the ice, one careless sound, and it's all over. The dream of a new life shatters in an instant. We'll hear from a man who made this journey. Let's call him Jae-sung. He remembers the terror of seeing a patrol approaching his group. They lay flat on the ice, barely daring to breathe, praying the darkness would hide them. He could feel his daughter shivering in his arms, her small body trembling not just from the cold, but from fear. The flashlight beams swept just meters from their heads before moving on. He says that in that moment, time simply stopped. It was the longest minute of his life. The guides or brokers are a complex part of this story. For a hefty price, they promise a safe passage. Some are genuinely trying to help, using their knowledge of the terrain and the patrol schedules to lead people to safety. But others are ruthless opportunists. They take the money and abandon families in the middle of nowhere, or worse, turn them over to the authorities. Choosing a broker is a life-or-death gamble in itself. You're putting your entire family's fate into the hands of a stranger. Think about the sheer courage it takes to leave your home, your culture, everything you've ever known, and step out onto that frozen river. You're walking towards an uncertain future, but you're walking away from a hopeless present. For many, The risk of capture or even death on the ice is a risk worth taking compared to the life they were leaving behind. It's a stark reminder of how powerful the human spirit is. The unshakable desire for freedom and a better life for your children. This river, under the stars, is a symbol. It's a river of hope, but every ripple in the ice, every shadow holds immense danger. The stories of those who cross it and those who don't make it are stories that need to be told. They are a testament to the high price of freedom. Have you ever wondered how a state creates its enforcers, the ones who operate from the shadows? It starts young. In secretive academies, tucked away from public view, the next generation of secret police is forged. They arrive as teenagers, some barely old enough to drive, full of ideals or perhaps just looking for a way out of poverty. They're handed dark, severe uniforms that strip them of their individuality, making them part of a single, imposing machine. From day one, the training is relentless, designed to break them down and rebuild them in the organization's image. The instructors are figures of absolute authority, their voices like iron, their methods unforgiving. Every morning begins before dawn with grueling physical exercises that push the recruits to their absolute limits. They run until their lungs burn. They fight until they can no longer stand. Weakness is not tolerated. It's beaten out of them, literally and figuratively. The message is clear. Your body is not your own. It's a tool for the state. But the physical hardship is only one part of it. The real transformation happens in the classroom and in simulated urban environments. Here, they learn the art of surveillance. They're taught to watch everyone, to see threats in the most mundane interactions. They memorize license plates, study body language, and learn how to tail a target without being noticed. They're trained to be invisible, to become human cameras, constantly recording, constantly analyzing. Their own lives become a performance, always aware they too are being watched by their instructors and even their peers. Trust is a liability. The psychological conditioning is perhaps the most brutal aspect. They are systematically desensitized. Through endless drills and simulations, they're taught to suppress their natural human responses. Empathy is labeled a weakness, a fatal flaw that could compromise a mission. They are shown images and scenarios designed to shock and numb them until they can witness suffering without flinching. They learn to see people not as individuals with families and feelings, but as potential threats, as numbers on a file, as obstacles to be managed or removed. In these schools, empathy dies first. Punishment is swift and severe for any infraction. Questioning an order is unthinkable. Disobedience means isolation, public humiliation, or worse. The system is designed to instill a profound sense of fear and an unwavering instinct to obey. They learn that their survival depends on their absolute loyalty to the organization, above family, friends, and their own conscience. They are being programmed to follow any command, no matter how morally questionable. And so, the transformation is completed. The bright-eyed teenagers who walked in are gone. In their place stand cold, efficient operatives, their humanity carefully chiseled away. They graduate not as protectors, but as instruments of control, ready to be deployed into the cities and towns they once called home. They are the secret police, trained from youth to watch, to punish, and to obey. They are the quiet enforcers of a silent war, and their first casualty was themselves. Have you ever seen pictures of Pyongyang? Gleaming skyscrapers, wide empty boulevards, and subways that look more like palace ballrooms than public transport. It's a city designed to impress, a meticulously crafted facade of prosperity and power. From the Juki Tower to the Ryugyong Hotel, every structure seems to shout a message of success and modernity. The streets are spotless, the buildings are monumental, and everything is perfectly in its place. It's the kind of city that looks incredible on camera, a futuristic metropolis that seems almost too perfect to be real. And that's the point. This is the North Korea the world is meant to see. But what happens when you look beyond the carefully curated showcase? What lies outside the borders of this Potemkin village? The reality is a stark and painful contrast. While Pyongyang shines under the international spotlight, much of the rest of the country operates in its shadow, grappling with challenges that are worlds away from the polished capital. For millions of North Koreans, life isn't about shiny new buildings or grand monuments. It's a daily struggle for the most basic necessities. Reports from defectors and international organizations paint a picture of widespread poverty, chronic food shortages, and a collapsing public health system. Imagine this. You're in a massive modern shopping mall in Pyongyang. The shelves are stocked, the floors are polished, but the halls are eerily quiet. There are no crowds, no bustling shoppers, just a few employees standing by. These stores are often filled with imported luxury goods that are far beyond the reach of the average citizen. They exist not for commerce, but for show. They are props in a grand play, designed to convince visitors and the outside world of a level of economic health that simply doesn't exist for the vast majority of the population. This disconnect is at the heart of understanding. North Korea. The country pours immense resources into maintaining this illusion. Billions have been spent on showcase projects in the capital, from amusement parks to high-rise apartments, all while rural areas suffer from a lack of investment in critical infrastructure like farms, hospitals, and schools. This isn't just about economics. It's a deliberate strategy. The image of a strong, prosperous Pyongyang is crucial for the regime's legitimacy, both at home and abroad. It's a symbol of the Juche ideology of self-reliance, a defiant statement to the world that North Korea is thriving despite international sanctions. But for the people living this reality, the gap between the official narrative and their daily lives is immense. They see the propaganda, they hear the speeches, but they also feel the hunger and experience the hardship. The polished streets of Pyongyang are built on the unseen struggles of millions. It's a city built for show, not necessarily for life. It's a powerful reminder that what we see on camera is often just a small, carefully selected part of a much larger, more complex story. The real story of North Korea isn't just in the grand architecture of its capital, but in the resilience and endurance of its people living in the shadow of the spectacle. Have you ever wondered what it feels like when someone you love just vanishes? One day they're there, laughing with you, and the next, there's just an empty space at the dinner table. An unanswered phone, a silence that screams louder than any noise. This isn't a plot from a movie. For countless families around the world, this is a horrifying reality. It's called enforced disappearance. People are taken, often by state authorities or groups acting on their behalf, and then hidden away. Their families are left in a state of agonizing uncertainty, not knowing if their loved one is alive or dead, safe or suffering. Imagine hanging up posters with a smiling face, a face you might never see again, desperately asking, "Have you seen this person?" Imagine knocking on doors, pleading for information, only to be met with denial, threats, or worse, a cold, empty silence. The psychological toll is immense. It's a continuous state of torment, a wound that never gets a chance to heal because there is no closure. This cruel practice is used to spread terror within a society. It silences dissent, punishes activists, and creates a climate of fear where no one feels safe to speak their mind. When a person disappears, their fundamental rights are stripped away. They are held outside the protection of the law. There's no trial, no judge, no lawyer. They are ghosts in the system, their existence denied by the very people who took them. This complete vulnerability often leads to other severe human rights violations. The families left behind are also victims. They face legal, social, and economic hardships, all while grappling with the emotional devastation of their loss. Their search for truth and justice is often a lonely and dangerous journey. But even in the darkest of times, there is hope. It shines from the unwavering courage of the families who refuse to be silenced. Mothers, fathers, siblings, and children who march, who protest, who keep the memory of their loved ones alive. It shines from human rights organizations and activists who tirelessly document these cases, advocate for the victims, and demand accountability from governments. They work to strengthen international laws and create mechanisms to prevent these atrocities from happening again. Their collective voice is a powerful force against the silence. So, what can we do? The first step is awareness. Understanding that this is happening right now is crucial. We can support organizations dedicated to fighting enforced disappearances. We can use our own voices, no matter how small they may seem, to share these stories and amplify the calls for justice. We can demand that our governments uphold human rights and hold perpetrators accountable. By shining a light on these hidden crimes, we challenge the impunity that allows them to continue. Ever wonder what happens when a country's own currency becomes worthless? Imagine a world where your life savings could evaporate overnight. This isn't a dystopian movie plot. It's the harsh reality for millions living under collapsed economies. Today, we're diving deep into the secret world of black market currencies, where holding the wrong piece of paper can mean the difference between survival and ruin. You see, when a government mismanages its economy, printing money until it's just paper, people lose faith. They scramble for something stable, something real. And more often than not, that something is a foreign currency, like the US dollar. Suddenly, this foreign money isn't just an option, it's a lifeline. But here's the catch. In many of these places, owning or trading foreign currency is strictly illegal. So, a clandestine world is born. People start exchanging dollars in hushed tones, in back alleys, through secret networks of friends and family. A simple trip to the grocery store becomes a complex financial operation. You pay for bread, milk, and eggs, not with the official local currency, but with crumpled dollar bills you've hidden away. The official exchange rate becomes a joke. The real price, the one that matters, is the black market rate, whispered from person to person. This creates a dangerous paradox. The very government that outlaws foreign currency often depends on it to survive. Officials might publicly condemn the use of dollars while privately demanding them for bribes or to import essential goods. Think about that for a second. The system is so broken that the enforcers of the law are forced to break it themselves just to keep the lights on. It's a shadow economy running in parallel to the official one, and soon it becomes the only asterisk economy that functions. Money becomes freedom and danger. Having dollars means you can buy medicine for a sick child or secure a spot for them in a better school. It means you can afford food that has disappeared from regular store shelves. It's a passport to a slightly more normal life amidst the chaos, but it also paints a target on your back. Where do you keep this forbidden treasure? Not in a bank, that's for sure. People get creative, hiding their life savings under floorboards, inside walls, or buried in their backyards. Every knock on the door could be someone looking to confiscate your hard-earned security. Your neighbor, once a friend, might become an informant. The constant fear is exhausting. You're not just a citizen, you're a criminal in the eyes of the state, simply for trying to protect your family's future. This isn't just about economics, it's about human resilience. It's about the incredible lengths people will go to create stability when their leaders have failed them. They build complex, trust-based systems from the ground up, all while looking over their shoulders. These underground networks are a testament to the human spirit's demand for a predictable, reliable way to trade, save, and live. From street corner money changers risking their freedom to high-level officials playing a double game. The story of black market currencies is a gripping look at how societies adapt when the official rules no longer apply. It reveals the true meaning of money, not just as a medium of exchange, but as a symbol of trust, a tool for survival, and a source of incredible risk. What do you think? It's a fascinating and complex issue that's playing out in several countries right now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever looked at a picture of North Korea's leader and thought something was off? Maybe the ears look a little different, the teeth aren't quite the same, or the hairstyle seems just a bit wrong. You might not be imagining things. Welcome to the strange and shadowy world of political decoys, where North Korea is rumored to be a master of the craft. The idea isn't new. Dictators throughout history, from Stalin to Saddam Hussein, have famously used body doubles to avoid assassination attempts and create confusion. It's a classic move from the authoritarian playbook. But in North Korea, it's taken to a whole new level. The goal isn't just to have a stand-in for dangerous situations. It's about creating a constant state of uncertainty. Imagine being tasked with this job. It's not just about looking like the supreme leader. You'd have to undergo extensive training, maybe even plastic surgery, to match every detail. You'd study his walk, his specific way of waving, that distinctive posture. You'd need to mimic his speaking patterns and even his reported health issues, like his limp or his weight fluctuations. These men would essentially have to erase their own identities to become a living, breathing copy of one of the most powerful and secretive men on Earth. So, why go to such extreme lengths? For one, security. If there are multiple Kims appearing at different events, it becomes nearly impossible for any would-be attacker to know if they have the right target. A decoy can attend a factory opening or a missile test, while the real leader remains safely tucked away in a secure location. This tactic keeps assassins guessing and intelligence agencies scrambling. Every public appearance becomes a question. Is it him, or is it one of his shadows? But it's also a powerful tool of psychological control. It reinforces the leader's almost mythical status. He can seemingly be everywhere at once, projecting an image of omnipresence and tireless dedication to the state. For the outside world, it sows disinformation. Analysts spend countless hours trying to determine if the man in a recent photo is the genuine article. It's a brilliant way to muddy the waters and make it incredibly difficult to get a clear read on the leader's health or his grip on power. Think about the photos that circulate online, with red circles comparing earlobes and dental patterns. While some claims might be exaggerated, the very existence of this debate serves the regime's purpose. It creates mystery and makes the leader seem even more untouchable. Each time a new photo is released, the speculation machine fires up all over again. Is he healthy? Is he even in control? The use of lookalikes ensures that we may never truly know the answer. These decoys live a life of immense privilege and extreme peril. They are protected, but they are also prisoners of their role. One wrong move, one gesture that's out of place, could have dire consequences. They are the ultimate secret keepers, living shadows in a state built on secrets. So the next time you see a picture from Pyongyang, take a closer look. You might be seeing the real thing, or you might be looking at a carefully crafted illusion. It's designed to protect a leader and confuse the entire world. It's a fascinating and chilling reminder that in North Korea, what you see is almost never what you get. Imagine a world where everything you watch, read, and listen to is controlled, where the stories you're told are designed to keep you in line, to make you believe there's no other way of life. In this world, a simple movie can be a revolutionary act. A tiny USB drive, passed from hand to hand in the shadows, becomes a lifeline. A flickering window to a world of color, laughter, and freedom. This isn't a dystopian fantasy. For many, this is reality. We see them huddled in a small, dimly lit room. The curtains are drawn tight, a cloth stuffed under the door to block the light and sound. On an old, crackling screen, a Hollywood movie plays. Faces they've never seen, speaking a language they barely understand, living lives they can only dream of. For a couple of hours, they are transported. They see people falling in love freely, speaking their minds without fear, chasing dreams that aren't dictated by the state. Each scene, each line of dialogue, is a seed of possibility planted in their minds. But this escape is fraught with peril. Outside, the rhythmic crunch of boots on gravel is a constant, terrifying reminder of the stakes. Guards patrol the streets, their sole purpose to enforce conformity, to stamp out any spark of individuality. A flicker of light from a window, a snippet of foreign music heard through a thin wall, that's all it takes. A knock on the door isn't a neighbor visiting. It's a potential death sentence. The people who distribute these USBs, the smugglers of hope, risk their lives. The people who watch them risk everything: their jobs, their families, their freedom. Why? Why take such a monumental risk for something as simple as a film? Because it's not just a film. It's proof. It's proof that another world exists. It's a confirmation that the human spirit craves more than just survival. It craves expression, connection, and the right to choose its own story. For the young man watching, it might be the first time he sees that his passion for art isn't a flaw to be corrected. For the mother, it's a glimpse of a future she wants for her children. A future where they can laugh out loud without looking over their shoulder. The story on the screen ends. The credits roll in silence. The USB is carefully ejected, hidden away for the next secret screening. The small group disperses, melting back into the gray, oppressive world outside. But something has changed. They walk a little taller. A quiet smile plays on their lips. The images are burned into their minds. The hope is now a fire in their hearts. They've seen what's possible. And that knowledge, that feeling, can't be unseen. It's a silent rebellion, a quiet revolution fought not with weapons, but with stories. One movie, one smuggled USB, can seem so small, but in a place starved of truth, it's a feast. It's a reminder that even in the darkest of places, a single spark of light can illuminate the path to freedom. It can change a life, or it can end one. But for those who dare to watch, it's a risk worth taking. In a world painted in shades of gray, where every skyscraper seems to touch a perpetually overcast sky, they took away the colors first. Not from our clothes or our buildings, but from our souls. They told us that belief was a disease, a relic of a chaotic past that needed to be sanitized for the sake of order and progress. Religion was banned. The old books were burned in grand, televised spectacles. The temples, mosques, and churches were repurposed into sterile administrative centers, or simply torn down. Their rubble, a stark reminder of the new era. They thought that by erasing the symbols, they could erase the spirit. They were wrong. Because hope is a stubborn thing. It doesn't need grand cathedrals or gilded texts. Sometimes, all it needs is a flicker of a candle in a dark, damp basement. That's where we gather. Down here, beneath the hum of the city and the watchful eyes of the authorities' patrols, the air is thick with the scent of earth and defiance. We are not a grand congregation. We are a handful of souls: the elderly woman who remembers the songs of her youth, the young man who found a tattered page of scripture in his grandfather's belongings, the disillusioned guard who saw more humanity in our secret gatherings than in the polished conformity above ground. Here, we don't have soaring hymns or eloquent sermons. Our prayers are whispers carried on bated breath, so quiet you can hear the drip of water from a leaky pipe and the scuttling of unseen things in the shadows. We share a single, dog-eared book, its pages softened by the touch of 100 desperate hands. Each word read is a victory, a testament to the fact that you can chain a person, but you cannot chain their faith. The silence of our worship is often punctuated by the rhythmic thud of boots on the pavement above. The guards, we freeze, our eyes meeting in the dim light, a shared understanding passing between us. Every heartbeat is a drum, every shallow breath a prayer in itself. Are they close? Did someone talk? The fear is real, a cold knot in the stomach. We've all heard the stories of what happens to those who are caught. The re-education centers, they call them. Places where souls are scrubbed clean of belief, leaving behind an empty, compliant shell. But then, the footsteps fade. The danger passes, for now. A collective, silent sigh of relief ripples through our small group. A hand squeezes a shoulder in reassurance. A faint smile is exchanged. In these moments, our bond is forged stronger than steel. We are more than just rebels. We are a family, bound by a shared, forbidden light. We are a living library of stories and traditions that the authority is so desperate to forget. It's a strange existence, living two lives. Above ground, we are model citizens. We nod, we comply, we keep our heads down. We wear the mask of indifference that the state requires. But our hearts beat to a different rhythm. They beat with the memory of whispered prayers in a hidden basement. They beat with the knowledge that even when you are surrounded by darkness, a single flicker of hope is enough to illuminate the world. They can ban religion, they can patrol the streets and monitor our every move, but they cannot reach the sacred spaces we build within ourselves and between each other. They thought they could create a world without faith, but what they really created was a world of secret keepers, of silent singers, of underground believers. And in these darkest corners, where hope was meant to die, it has learned not only to survive, but to breathe, to grow, and to shine with a brilliance they could never extinguish. Thank you for listening. If our story resonated with you, consider subscribing to hear more tales from the shadows.